WBC fight this weekend, and it's going to be Tim Tszyu looks to secure the WBO title against Brian Mendoza. Brian Mendoza, who scored a monster upset over the Burning Inferno, the Towering Inferno. I'm sorry, the Towering Inferno. Um, Sebastian Fundora, who's kind of took a break. We thought we were going to get an automatic rematch between him and Mendoza, but you know what? They decided to do some other things at this point right now, and you know that he's chasing the WBC titles as well too. So you're kind of waiting on that title to be vacated, or your possibility of getting your opportunity against Charlo, I'm guessing at this point in time, or Samson just went ahead and put him on the bench for a while so he could just, enjoy life a little bit because he was boxing a lot. But let's talk about this fight right here. Brian Mendoza is in the biggest fight of his life. Tim Tszyu is not officially the WBO champion as of yet. He'll be the WBO champion if he does win this fight against Brian Mendoza, because you have to understand that they're fighting for the vacant belt. They can say that he's the champion, but the thing is, he would become the full champion if he wins the fight, because he's the interim champion. And that was his mandate to fight Charlo. Now, since Charlo can't fight him because he's already fought, he decided to go ahead and, push the limits a little bit. And the WBO wound up stripping that belt from Charlo. But you're not truly the full champion until you actually win the fight that has the championship on the line. But he will go into the fight as the world champion, technically. But all in all, they're both chasing the same exact thing. He doesn't have Charlo's belt yet. They haven't sent a world title to him yet. He has to earn that world title. That's why I said looks to secure the WBO title. He's not the WBO champion. Just because you see a belt on his shoulder, that doesn't make him the champion. He's the interim champion, but technically he is the world champion going into the fight. But in reality, he's the interim champion. He has to win this fight to be the champ. It's so simple, it's stupid. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. But Tim Tszyu is taking on a good challenge here. Brian Mendoza is a guy that's pretty hungry to show that he's great at boxing. I think that Brian Mendoza has a great heart, and I think that he's a gamer, and he's a guy who shows up to work. But at the end of the day, it's levels to this game. And I think Tim Tszyu just levels ahead of this guy to the point to where this is not going to be a long night, okay? Because honestly, Brian Mendoza was about a round or two away from being knocked out by Fundora. He was able to hit him with a good shot. Fundora got stunned, and he was able to put Fundora down in the fight. In this situation right here, he doesn't have the situation where he's going against the guy who's 6'7". He's going against a guy who's just about his height. So Tim Tszyu isn't going to be somebody he has to reach up at. But at the same time, too, Tim Tszyu is coming a lot faster than Fundora. And he's going to be throwing punches that are trying to end the night. That's the whole thing. He's not trying to just go up in here, pity pat, get himself a points win. So it's going to be fireworks in this fight. And I truly do feel the way that the fight is setting up, if it does wind up going 12, I truly do feel Mendoza is in for a robbery if he does well. I'm going to keep it real with you. I'm just going to keep it real. They're in Australia, and Tim just has to do well enough. He doesn't have to just go in there. He doesn't have to dominate, okay? He just has to do well enough, okay? And well enough might be a fight that looks like a draw, or a fight that slightly might lean towards Mendoza, but he looked good enough to where you don't know who actually won the fight. They'll hand the fight to Tim Tszyu. That's my whole thing. So if you're Brian Mendoza's corner, you have to let him know it's a knockout, bro. You have to knock him out. You have to stop him. You have to make sure that this does not go to the judges, because if it goes to the judges, it's out of our hands, and we can't guarantee a victory. We can't even think about guaranteeing a victory, okay? So they got to do right by their boxer and make sure that they demand he knocks him out. Because even in a dominant effort, they'll still figure out a way to try to get his fight to Tim Tszyu. I'm keeping it real with you guys. And that's because Tim Tszyu is the cash cow that they need for the long term. Brian Mendoza is an opponent. Okay, and this is what happens when you're an opponent. They don't view you in the way of somebody that's gonna come in here and actually win the fight. So you have to make them respect you at the end of the day. All right. And that's exactly what I see in this fight. Brian Mendoza has to make Tim Tszyu respect him. And if he can pull that off, he can possibly win this fight. But I truly do feel that Tim Tszyu is going to get comfortable around round 2 or 3, and he'll probably end this fight within 5 rounds. Okay. But Brian Mendoza will be a guy that will engage, and he ain't running. I know that for sure. It's going to be a good fight. I think he will fare a lot better than Ocampo did in Tszyu's previous fight, because Ocampo is already cooked. He's done. He's through. All right. So with that, we move forward. Let's go ahead and jump into Friday